Brooks Benson, episode 12, full-fledged podcast.
What's up? We're
What's
back
up?
again.
Guess who's back?
Back-to-back recordings because we got to get this stuff out.
Yeah, we just finished episode 11, the hunt highlight. If you haven't listened to it, go back and listen to it. You'll listen to how bad of a hunter I am.
It's a story about how Justin's going to persevere and get that buck again. He's going to pop up again, and he's going to be like, you know what, buddy? And the buck's going to be like, throw up both hands and be like, I get it. Just
Yep,
do it.
you got me. You got me. That's so. No, go back, check out episode 11. If you haven't checked out any of the other episodes leading up to this point, I recommend going back and checking out those. And then while you're at it, while you're clicking and scrolling and whatnot, go ahead and click the like buttons, the follow buttons, subscribes, all those good buttons.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, leave some comments. I think my mom is the very first and only comment so far. Love you, Mom. Always great to have mom support, family
Thanks,
support.
Mama Mulvaney.
But yeah, let's get some other listener engagement going. That'd be awesome. But no pressure. But if you guys don't, we might stop doing this. No, we're
We're not going
enjoying
to
it.
stop.
So yeah, we're enjoying it. It's not for you guys. It's for us.
You just
So
enjoy it.
yeah, it's a good way to talk hunting and archery and all that good stuff. Between the two and three of us, whenever Tanner is able to get back on a podcast again. Yeah, it's good for us, but it's also good to see what you guys like and don't like listening to. So let us know in the
Correct.
comments and likes and subscriptions. That'll let us know what you guys really like. So, that being said, we'll kind of dive into episode 12. First off, Brooks, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing phenomenal.
Doing phenomenal.
A little
Work been
tired.
work been all right?
Oh, work was a blast today. I just cleaned a pump station, and we
Mm,
had a sheriff come in. He talked about active shooters.
that's fun.
That was fun. Other than that, man, it's things been good. Pretty much all the bows are pretty much out for 2025. I think
Yeah,
the only one we're waiting on is I think Prime, right?
yeah. I think Prime and Bowtech.
Bowtech. Yep.
Yeah, I was listening to the fireside chat with MFJJ and Tim Connor. They come out on every Monday, and so obviously this week it came out before the Matthews launch. So next week
Mhm.
they'll talk about Matthews. But yeah, they were talking about it, and he was saying Prime and Bowtech are like the big two that are left. So or maybe even the only two.
I think
So
it is, yeah, because Elites come out. There's obviously Matthews today, Hoyt
Hoyt
last
last week,
Wednesday,
TSE has done theirs.
PSE, Bear,
Yep,
Darton. Trying to think any others.
those are the main ones for sure.
Yeah, definitely the main ones.
The bigger names.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of good new innovations have come out, and we'll talk a little bit about those as we're kind of talking about what we're going to talk about today. But it's definitely been exciting. It feels like Christmas every year now that like for me, the more I've gotten into it, it's like, ooh, what's the new thing? What are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Because like a couple years ago, it was like it almost obviously I wasn't as into it as I am now, but it was like okay, like they're gonna keep doing something new, but like where's the innovation? Like how are you gonna innovate a compound bow even more than we already have? And now it's turning into like innovate for this, innovate for that. Like the Matthews, they did the new limbs a couple years ago, and instead of four limbs, they made them eight and putting like dampeners in between limbs to make them quieter. And it's like, holy crap, how has nobody ever thought of this? And then,
Right.
um, I think boats like last year or whatever, a couple years ago, they made it to where you can adjust your cams without having to put them into a bow press and using their system. And then Darton made it to where you can adjust the limbs to adjust to tune your bow. And then now the big announcement that came out today from Matthews was their new version of tunability by being able to, again, similar to Darton, but a lot closer to the Bowtech, where
Right.
you adjust your limbs in relation to the cam. So the way I'm understanding it is, you know, for Bowtech, you have this screw that your cam moves left and right in between the limbs. But for Matthews, it's a similar process where you turn a screw, but instead of the cam moving, you're moving one of the limbs closer or farther from the cam. Very innovative to be able to tune it without having to keep putting it into a bow press over and over again. Not that that is like a bad thing to do to your bow, but it's just a tedious task. And like we were talking about with Darton on episode 10, for the consumer, being more user friendly and tunability at home is huge. So
Yeah, and especially with Darton coming out with that and just kind of hitting the scene this year, like, oh, okay, these guys are actually legit, type of thing,
yeah,
which is cool. It was really cool to see.
yeah. Matthews, they just keep finding ways to make their bows exciting. They came out with another, I guess, a third model. It's the same bow, but now it's in a shorter axle to axle, more tailored to shorter draw lengths. And so um, that is really exciting. And they max out at 29, which for your average Joe bow shooter, bow hunter, that's your average draw length. And they make everything the same, but just in a shorter axle to axle. And so that bow is now faster than the other two bows because it's
Mhm.
a shorter axle length. Um, and so it's just like, well, I was telling Brooks before we got on to these today, it was like, I might actually really be interested in that because that bow is lighter and that bow is
Mhm.
faster, but it's the same exact bow as the 29 and the 93. So it's
Right.
very, very intriguing. And like we keep saying, we just need to go shoot them. We need to go shoot all these bows
Yep.
whenever it's time for us to make that decision on a new bow, to really decide. But
Yeah, that's small, dude. The small Matthews bow, the RS, it's draw lengths 23.5 to 29, and you're what, 29, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so you max that out and put that at 80 pounds, dude, you're chilling. And at
yeah,
3.92 pounds, the whole like physical weight, yeah,
right.
that'll play.
Granted, that's before you put on any of your accessories. Like that's even before your rest,
Hmm.
and obviously not your sight or your stabilizers or any of that stuff. But you can buy like a lot of those things. You can buy the smallest, lightest things, and you're not putting a whole lot of weight on your bow. And so I feel like for a lot of reasons, a lot of different uses, archery hunters, hiking through the woods, your bow you just got that much lighter, and it's
Hmm.
less of a burden to carry through the woods.
Right.
A shorter axle to axle now being in a blind. That is a thing for a good percentage of hunters being in a blind, having a shorter bow, not being as tall up top. And you have better clearance with limbs for guys that are sitting in trees.
Hmm.
So, if you're a person that falls into that draw length window, like for me, I feel like that's something I really need to go look at. The downside is the brace height on that is shorter than pretty much any other bow out there, which makes it less forgiving. So, you know, for guys
Yeah.
like me who don't hit deer clean every time.
Yeah, brace height's 5.5.
Yeah, which I think that might be one of the shortest ones of the new releases.
Yeah, because let's see, the Lift X33, that's a 6.5. The 29.5 is 6. And then the XD model, which is for your long draw guys, they finally get something. Good for them. Is 6.75.
Yeah, so that brace height, I mean, on that shorter axle, the shortest one, it's going to be a lot less forgiving. In comparison, I would say that's probably pretty good for that axle to axle length that they came out with. It's pretty forgiving for what they're able to do, and obviously, they have all the different tunability features to it that it'll only help you.
Oh,
All these other
100%.
things that you can use. Yeah, I think that's the exciting stuff for Matthews and kind of getting into the tunability and things of that nature. What we are primarily wanting to talk about this episode. Um, Brooks has talked about it. Obviously, I kind of have a little bit of it started, but we're going to talk a little bit about building your bow shop at home, the
Hmm.
do-it-yourself bow shop. So, Brooks, how far along into the home shop process are you?
Well, we just got started because your boy got an arrow scale.
Arrow scale.
It was
It's
like
big.
15, 16. Oh, I almost broke it. It was like $16 on Amazon. Now I should have just got the Last Chance Archery one, but whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was like $15. I'm like, I might as well grab it. So I
right.
did. So that's step one of my own little bow shop
Step
in my
one.
basement. Step one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've so sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if you would have gone with the newest Last Chance Archery Pro Grain Scale 2.0, that's
Mm-hmm.
$54. You know,
That's buy
three
once,
times the
cry
price.
once. Should have just bought
Yeah.
that one. Whatever.
The one I have, I forget, it must be the 1.0 or something. I love it. I mean, it does exactly what you need it to do, but I don't know what new features the 2.0 has over the 1.0 that would make it better, but the one I have works great. So yeah, I feel like it's a good place to start just to be aware of your arrow weight, and especially you're going to start tinkering with your own arrows. And the other thing is like when you get into having sliders, sights with sliders,
Mm,
you can get into building your sight tapes. There's websites and apps and things like that that you can put in your arrow weight and your arrow speed and all your different features or parts of your bow and stuff like that that you put on all these numbers, and instead of having to go and shoot and like sight like physically adjust all of your points and finding a sight tape and
right,
guessing, you can put in all these numbers and it's going to do it like exactly to your specs without having to guess of, sight tape 21 or sight tape 22 or sight tape 19 or sight tape 22. Which one looks better? Like they're because when you get to looking at your sight tapes, all those are within like millimeters of each other. And it's
right,
like you want to be as precise as possible. And when you have, your exact arrow weight, your exact FPS, everything being exact, and you put it into these websites, and they spit out a sight tape for you, like to a T, it should be perfect for you and your bow for that arrow setup. Yeah, Brooks is holding up some sight tapes for us for
yep,
his Trophy Ridge, right?
correct. For the
Trophy
trophy rig.
Ridge.
I get my
What
Picatinny mount tomorrow, so I'm excited.
what what's the name of the site again?
It is the React Trio Pro.
There it is. React Trio Pro. He was holding it up there for a second, but it's a 3-pin slider.
Correct. 3 pin,
Yep, there it is.
two two horizontal, one vertical. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Um,
And
it's kind
then
of
I shoot a red line 5-pin slider. So we're both on that slider game using sight tapes. I haven't sighted in with my sight tapes yet. Like I haven't done my sight tapes yet. When I bought it, I was only doing a 3D shoots that went out to like 50 at most. And so it was like, okay, I don't need to worry about my 60, 70, whatever. And so I just never sighted those numbers in. And so I like going going into 3D this year, I'm gonna want to. I think I'm gonna build or like take back my weight down to 100 grain field
hmm
tip and just use the same arrows I'm using for hunting this year and just use those for my 3D shoots. And then when I build my hunting arrows, those will be heavy, heavy, heavy. Everything's gonna be heavy. So
yeah. So here's my question about since we're on this topic right now. What is a good arrow weight for 3D?
good arrow weight. Without giving you like an exact number, I would give you like a range of like 400 to 450 probably. Just whatever is gonna make your bow like you don't need to worry about penetration It's just whatever is going to fly better out of your bow. And
Right.
so that's where, people who have more resources or whatever can tinker with arrow weights a little bit more. That's where like being able to use like those victory back weight inserts, to be able to
Mm-hmm.
tinker with, 25 grains at a time or 50 grains at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You can make micro and macro adjustments, just by taking out your knock, putting in some more weight, and you're adding weight and you're adding FOC. Being able to tinker that way is a huge benefit. Just whatever shoots the best and whatever you're most comfortable with. It depends on what kind of, like, are you doing known or unknown, and how confident are you in your arrow flight? A lot
What
of
does
people
known or unknown mean?
distance. So like a known distance where you get to use your rangefinder,
Yeah,
and then unknown, you don't get a rangefinder at all, and you just have to guess your range.
gotcha.
And so when you get into like unknown, especially knowing your arrow weight and your flight of your arrow and things like that can get kind of are pretty important. So guys who are like super serious in that world, they pretty much build their own arrows and have a pretty tight grasp on all that stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, 450 I think tends to fly pretty well. It's still pretty fast. It's not slow. You could build a 350 grain arrow, and just like, which is basically like if you go to Bass Pro, Cabela's, whatever, and you pull an arrow out of those out of the box, those are typically in that weight range. So yeah, I would say anywhere from 350 to 450 is gonna be your typical, especially like, and then when you get out to like being at like a tack or like a long distance 3D shoot,
Yeah.
a lot of those arrow setups are gonna be a lot lighter
Mm-hmm.
and faster, because the whole point is distance, and it again, it's not about penetration, so it doesn't really matter. It matters about being able to use your sight out to 120 yards and on a slider, and not have your arrow hit your sight, or having to, like you were saying when you went out to tack this year, or whichever one it was.
Western Hunt.
And yeah, when you were at Western Hunt Fest and you had like the 80, 90, whatever yard shot, and it was like, you didn't have a slider at the time, but there's even guys that, they're using a slider, and they get up to a target that's 120 yards out, and they can only go out to 107 or whatever. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I'm gonna hold 107 over their back, and good luck. That's just where people will, like, they'll set up their arrows specifically for those types of events, where it's like, okay, I'm going to build a 350 grain arrow so that I can go anywhere from 20 to 100,
That
and
makes
be able to
sense.
use my sight without having to bounce off of a bubble or off of the bottom of a sight or whatever.
Right. Okay.
So
Good to know.
yeah, yeah. Arrow scale is a good place to start, because it's important to know how much your stuff weighs, especially if you buy an arrow or build an arrow that
Mm-hmm.
has the adjustability, kind of like you have with the Victory, and being able to do back weights,
Yeah.
just to be able to know where you're at and be like, okay, I want to add, say you want to add 50 grains, and they have the 50 grain back weight and screw in. You do it, make sure you know what you're at, and you can make sure all of your arrows are within a certain range of tolerance, plus or minus 5 grains. So then you know that your whole setup is consistent, and if they're not, then you got other problems. Something with your build went wrong, but
Right.
or there's a part missing or something like that. But just to,
Mm-hmm.
be sure, type thing. Consistency is key. Having all your arrows be as close in every aspect that they can is really important. So,
Right.
what would you say is going to be your next purchase or endeavor in the home shop build?
Oh, I've been looking. So I'm on this article, East Meets West Outdoors. They came out with an article last year, January 2023, talking about build your home bow shop on a budget.
Mhm.
Essential tools needed to get started. So I was like, okay, that's intriguing. And there's a video attached to it. I did watch that video. It's a good video.
Yeah,
I think it was more of a podcast too. Yeah, it was a video podcast. And but I'd like to get a bow press.
yeah,
because I know. Let's see here. So, I mean, I feel like that's pretty essential
Right.
to have because I know I'm going to be the type of guy because you can get a bow press last chance easy green. Now I don't know what the difference between them right now, but you can get one for $379. It's on sale at Lancaster Archery right now.
Yeah. Yep.
It's pretty good. And
Yeah.
I mean, all I
Last
hear,
chance is like your best bow press or best bow building or whatever archery shop tools.
yeah, and yeah, yep, it's on sale. I think green's probably the cheaper one of them all.
Yeah, I believe it should be. The easy green should be.
Yeah, which is honestly is all I need. So
Yeah.
I'm,
I mean,
I'm
the
not.
only upgrades after that, I mean, then you get into like motorized and things like
Mhm,
that. MFJJ, he has, I think he has a video on how to modify an easy green to make it to where like you take a drill and like like an attachment on your drill and you can make your bow press motorized if you wanted to by attaching a drill, which I mean, just you're cranking it by hand otherwise, which for guys like you and I, you're pressing it maybe once or twice when you're actually using it, and then it sits there until the next bow you buy or until you feel like you need to change your strings or whatever
mhm,
on your bow.
yeah.
So you're only doing it once a year at most.
Mhm,
Whereas guys at an actual big time shop, they're doing it once an hour, and so having them
yeah.
motorized is pretty important. So yeah, I feel like that's a good one to go to having a bow press. That one I feel like is something you can't really build it yourself.
Mhm,
Having something that has already like manufactured, kind of like an Easy Green, or there's other companies that make bow presses, but that I'm sure are fine. But yeah, I feel like if you're gonna have a bow press, you should have one. You should probably have one that's manufactured and manufactured well.
yeah. Agreed. What's your next purchase?
So being in the arrow industry, I guess arrow building world, I don't have every tool for building arrows, but I feel like for me, a spine tester for arrows is going to be my next big purchase at some point soon, hopefully. So, what I have right now is for building arrows, just the arrow saw and a squaring tool. And so, yeah, I mean, it's exactly what it sounds like. A saw specifically for cutting your arrows, just cutting carbon, and then it's just like a little tool that you can sand off whatever edges that you ended up cutting. If you cut both ends, you want to square them up.
Mhm,
And so it's just a small little disc, like sandpaper disc to square up your ends and make those ends a cleaner cut because sometimes that saw doesn't leave a good clean cut. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have now. But, when you're building your arrow, we were talking about it a couple episodes ago, finding your spine. So every arrow has like a spine. So not the spine, they all have a spine number, but they all have like a point that is like the most stiff, and you want
mhm,
that point to always be up on like the top of your arrow, like when you fletch it and everything. So a spine tester is a good way to do that. There's other ways that you can do it. You can knock tune, and that'll get you pretty close to having your spine pointed up. But buying and using a spine tester,
mhm.
I think is going to be big for consistency again, consistency of your arrows when you're fletching them. So then, you know, it'll give you the best chance for the best arrow flight when they're all fletched up and ready to go.
Yeah.
So, for me, I think that's where I'm gonna go next. For now, I mean, I'm not in the world of needing a bow press yet. I would like to have one because I'm just the kind where I like to do things myself. Not that I'm too stubborn to have somebody else do it, but like I like to be able to learn how to do it and
Same.
be able to do it myself. And they used to have, I don't know if they make them anymore, but they had a, oh yeah, pack and go. They have a pack and go from Last Chance Archery where you can take it on the road with you. So, you know, you go up to the mountains and instead of having to take it all the way into town or all the way into like home to get a bow fixed up, there's like you can pack it all up and you can find a way to install it like on your truck or somewhere on the road and you can fix your bow on the go
Pretty
with
cool.
this with the pack and go. They still have it on their website. It's 550. I don't know how much it is anywhere else. They have a pack and go ultimate, which I don't know what the difference is without sitting here and reading it off to you. That's 780. But which those, I mean, you can set them up at home and they would be the same as probably an easy go or an
Hmm.
easy green, but then you can disassemble it and take it with you on the road.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so might be worth looking into, but
Yeah, that might
eventually,
be.
eventually a bow press is in the works. I would say for me, a draw board I think is going to be good to have for multitude of reasons. But yeah, I think for me that's kind of the arrow building side of things is where I'm gonna probably go before I get into getting like stuff for the bow or bow press
Hmm.
type stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, like I said, I think Last Chance Archery has some of the better products out there. Like I said, there are other ones. Everything that they have works well. A lot of people use them, and so it's like there's a reason for that, obviously. So
Right.
a bow vise would be nice, like when you're
Oh,
installing components to your bow or whatever. That's gonna be a lot less expensive than a press.
they could
There's
just sit right here.
yeah, then you can tinker on it without having to like I forget what I was installing or messing with on my bow one time, but I was like,
Hmm.
man, I just wish it could sit still for me so that I can not have it fall all over the place. It's like, yeah, you know what would be great for that is a bow vise.
What? Nice.
What else do they have here? Yeah, bow vise. I just saw that on their website, and it's pretty important, I would think, to have that. They got some stuff for building arrows. I'm sure there's something that I've forgotten about. I've got the Arizona Easy Fletch for the helicals.
Hmm.
Um, they make their own fletching tool, the Vein Master Pro.
Right.
I haven't ever used it. I haven't seen it in person, but I've heard good things. But them and the Bitzenberger are like the other two aside from the Arizona Easy Fletch that are kind of in the world of fletching arrows that are pretty good. But yeah, I'm not really in the I really like the Arizona Easy Fletch. It's very easy to do it. You can do a three fletch or a four fletch with those. Times like the Bitzenberger is probably easier or just as easy probably as the Easy Fletch to do it.
Hmm.
To do a four fletch. Vein Master Pro, I'm sure it's very similar to the Bitzenberger, but those ones are just pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. I don't need a new arrow saw. The one I have, I forget where I think I got it off of Lancaster, but it was pretty good.
Nice.
I'm not going to deter you from it, but I mean, if you do want to get into being able to build and fix your own arrows, I wouldn't be too mad at you. But
That's what I got you for.
exactly, that's what I'm here for you, Brooks. You don't need to invest in all those.
That's true. Well, arrow tools I don't need, but
Yeah,
the rest,
I got you covered on the arrows. You can take care of your own bow.
that's fine.
I had I had one of my buddies back in Colorado. He at the beginning of the year, I think. Yeah, he was telling me that I think it was a very similar story to you. He inherited a bow or something like that, or somebody else had a bow and gave it to him or whatever. And he's like, "Oh yeah, like I don't know if it's set up for anything or whatever." I was like, "Well, I would say you could send it to me, but I don't have any of the stuff to actually do it. But I'd love to come out there and actually help you build it because he has less of a clue on archery than you do. Like he hasn't even like started the archery world, which I don't know if he will. He's
Oh
a
yeah.
big time waterfowl guy. Yeah, he might not get into archery as much. He might stick to his waterfowl, which I'm hoping to have him on talk some duck hunting since duck
That'd be
hunting
cool.
it's already been going over there, but duck starts next week here, so It'd be good to. I would like to have him on
Heck yeah, that'd be sick.
so he can teach me a lesson. I hunted with him quite a bit back up there, but he needs to give me a refresher course on how to kill a duck. So
Pop pop.
exactly. Um, yeah. So no, I think to kind of tie it together, like having all these tools would be great, but Matthews now, Dart and Bowtech, those some of these companies, they're making it to where the tunability of their bows doesn't totally require a bow shop and it doesn't totally require a bow press. So it's making it to where the average Joe can go to the range and tune their bow without having to bring a bow press, like a portable bow press, or to have to do it at a pro shop to get it completely tuned up. They can get it all
Mm.
done. They can get it tuned and sighted in within a day. So I feel like that's the big thing for
Yeah.
like, oh, the dog's going nuts.
Yeah. Chelsea's home, so
Tunability, and then eventually I think I forget what they're saying. People are hoping for like next year in the future to have for what innovations come with bows, but
yeah,
the tunability is a huge step up from where
huge.
they were a couple years ago.
Now Hoyt's got to get involved.
Yep. Hoyt, I would not be surprised if they find a way to have some sort of system like that.
Hmm.
It would be interesting though what they can come up with, because I'm sure those tools that like Dart and Matthews and Bowtech have, I'm sure those are patented. And
Yeah.
so unless they like buy access to the patent or whatever,
Hmm.
it'll be interesting to see what they're able to come up with.
It will be because I know I was when I was looking at the Matthews reviews today, there was some people who were like, "Oh, Bowtech's about to sue him,"
Yeah.
and
And
I was like, "Oh, okay." And then, well, I listened to MFJJ, and he's like, "Oh, it's completely different than Bowtech." I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
probably not."
It's the same, but it's actually not at all.
No.
It looks the same because it functions in a very similar manner, but it is different. It's very cool. I think it's awesome that they're keeping the consumer in mind, because it could be very easy to just keep things as is and make archers rely on bow shops, more or less overwhelm bow shops, because you know not to say every bow shop is busy, because if a person goes, like, say you go to a bow shop and they're not great with you one time, you're going to go to another one that is a good one, and then that bow shop is going to become overwhelmed because everybody finds out that they're a good shop and they
Right.
know what they're doing, and all of a sudden they have all these bows that they have to get fixed up for people. But it'll kind of take the stress off of the bow shops a little bit, but
Mhm.
it makes it, I don't know, I feel like it's just better for archer. It's not just hunting. 'Cause, he was saying, MFJJ was saying he's pretty sure it's coming on the target bows for Matthews as well, to have that same system for the tunability, which there's no point not to.
Right.
I mean, you're manufacturing them all the same anyways, because the titles are almost the same as their lifts. It's just longer axle length and a couple other different small differences that it's like, well, you may as well just put everything that you put on the new lifts onto the new target bows. So
Yeah, might as well.
yeah, the tunability is just going to be really good, I
Yeah.
think, for
Yeah.
for the average Joe user to just go home and sight in their own bow.
Hmm.
You know,
Just super nice.
yeah, have the bow shop, put it in a press, put in your peep, help you get the peep lined up right, tie in your peep and your D loop for you. Almost everything else, like, the consumer is able to do by themselves as far as tunability after that. Unless you unless you get into like macro adjustments that
Hmm.
require a total retune.
Yep.
So,
I will say, if like you're gonna need a paper tuner,
mhm.
so I'm actually looking at one of those right now.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Big one. So definitely have one of those. You can looks like you can get them for like 75, $80.
Yeah. And I think I want to say I know that there's other people out there that have made videos of how to make it like really cheap, but
Mhm.
like if you have a bunch of like random things just hanging around that can work for it, like you can make it for basically free. Like if you have some sort of paper product, or like you go to the store and like all you have to buy is the paper, like you can build a something to use as a paper tuner with what you have already at home.
I'm looking at
$75 is great. Like, I mean, it's not too bad because you can use it for a long time probably, but you can also make them really cheap, from my understanding.
I'm looking at this thepapertuner.com,
Hmm.
and it actually gives you, like, it has a square and it gives
Hmm.
you like the perfect, where does it say, the perfect tear, right tear, left tear, multiple issues, which is actually, that's actually kind of cool. That's really
Yeah.
smart and gives you like a visual. Okay, like what is my bow actually doing right now?
Yeah. What adjustment do I need to make?
Hmm.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
would just get that for that because that's super nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, you can go on the interwebs and find the problem, be like, tear right. What does that mean? But then, it's extra time. The convenience of you're paying for the convenience
It's
when
the
you use that other thing, which is nice. Plus, like that tool is gonna last quite a long time.
hmm yeah, because you're not going to be tuning unless like for some reason you start becoming an at home bow, like an actual like bow shop,
Shop.
and people start figuring it out, and they're like, oh, okay, this guy, like, he's actually pretty good at tuning bows or getting bows fixed or whatever.
Yeah.
Which, not a bad idea. You can start your own bow shop if you want to have a
Right.
actual bow shop one day, start in your basement and then just work from there.
Yeah. Hey, don't be stealing my ideas, Brooks.
Hey, 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 you live in Tennessee, I live in Colorado, it's fine.
So, but yeah, paper tuner is pretty big time. Because if your arrow's not flying right, everything's screwed. Everything's screwed. So,
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think this bow right here is flying right. Granted, I gotta get my new sight on it, but I need string. I need a new D loop, dude. This D loop sucks. Get rid of this stupid tube. Like, I don't like this
yeah,
tube.
yeah. You need a new peep sight.
Yeah, I need new peep. I want to get. I'll probably keep the string
Yeah,
because I want to get another bow anyway. So I'm just gonna have this one for fun.
yeah,
So just because I can.
yeah, for sure. For
But
sure. No, I never did paper tune my bow. I bought my bow from a dealer out in Garden. Well, he wasn't in Garden City, but he was like right outside of Garden City,
okay,
and like he just I don't understand his whole situation, but like he was a Matthews dealer. That was the only bows he sold, and it was like in like a guest house or something like that at on his property, and
interesting.
he had like 10 bows, 20 bows, something like that, all just kind of set up there. We went and got it all figured out. And he helped me, like, I did a custom bow, the VXR, and picked out all the colors and the bowstring and what stabilizer and quiver and all, like, everything. So like pretty legit, and got in. He's like, all right, I'll help you get it all set up. I'll set up your bow for you, and then like I'm not gonna help you sight it in. Like we'll get you on your 20, and then you can go sight it in from there. I was like, okay, cool. I think we got 3 shots in to um we didn't paper tune it. We got the peep tied in, and then we started shooting at like 7 yards to sight in my 20, and he went and like tinkered with my sight, and like this ball bearing, I forget what my sight was at the time, but like a ball bearing fell out
Hmm.
of it, and then like the whole sight couldn't adjust after that
Jeez.
because of that. And so it was like we were in the grass, and the grass was kind of long. It's like that thing's gone. And so it was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not sighting. I literally shot like 5 arrows total out of this bow, and didn't wasn't anywhere close to having my 20 sighted in. So it's like, well, I gotta wait And he's like, okay, I'll order a replacement part for this. Like, I figured out what part this is. Like he got it for me and sent it to like
Nice.
he got it shipped to my house and was like, I'm not coming back to you. So I don't know. I don't know if my bow has ever been actually into like I know it's the timing is right. That's what that's the new thing that people are hoping out of like Matthews in the next couple of years is a way for people to adjust their timing
So,
at
what
home.
is timing?
It's your top and bottom cams turning over at the same time and like reaching the peak at the same time.
Okay, now
Yeah.
that makes
So
sense.
if your bow is not in time, one or the other is going to reach its peak before the other. And so you don't want that. You want it obviously synced up. Where
Gotcha.
when you hit that back wall, it's because both have hit the back wall of the cam.
Mhm. Okay, that makes sense.
You'll be able to notice a severe like if your bow is severely out of time,
Mhm.
you'll notice it. But if it's like a hair off, like you'll need like almost like a slow motion camera, like your iPhone in slow motion to, draw it back and you see one is like just slightly ahead of the other.
Mhm.
And then if that's the case, then yeah, you'll have to put it in a bow press and watch MFJJ teach you how to tune a bow or tune the timing. So, but anyways, I forget what we were talking about a second ago. But tuning, timing, all that good stuff.
All the fun
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah, I
man.
don't know where we were going before we got on the timing track, but
Yeah. What was that?
well, me, I just said, I lost myself.
I said, "Meh." I heard, "Meh." Oh man. Well, I guess. Are you looking to get yourself the new Matthews lift?
Yeah, um, it's gonna be hard to say that I don't want to get
Mhm.
it. It's going to also be hard to afford it without selling my bow and maybe a kidney or something like that. But
Yeah.
I will say, and we were talking about it in our group text or group Instagram messaging or whatever we were talking about it on, but the affordability comparatively to the other bows, it appears as though Matthew outperformed everybody in the specs and outperformed them in price. So they have what seems to be a better bow at a better price than pretty much everybody else. So the price is not always it's not the best price because there's definitely bows that are less expensive, but for what you're getting out of it, it's competitive for what you're getting out of the Matthews bow.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm very interested. I told Caitlin um yesterday or the day before, whatever. I was like, yeah, you're gonna listen to the podcast. You're gonna hear me say that I might sell my bow so I can buy the new one. We'll see when it comes out on Tuesday. And I watched these videos and I looked at her and I was like, yeah, after this season, my bow might be going on Facebook Marketplace. So
It might be that time.
yeah,
Because yours is the what, 2021?
I think so. 2020, 2021.
Okay.
But so I mean, it's not totally out of date, but
Mhm.
it could be time.
It's
Could be time for an update.
it,
Yeah, 2020,
okay.
2020. But oh yeah, it's almost 5 years old now. It's time to go. Hit the road, Jack.
See ya later, alligator. Smell ya.
Yeah, it looks like based on this guy on eBay, he's selling his for $1,000 or $1,080, but it looks like fully set up.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So
Pretty
de
good.
definitely not at the price of a bare bones bare bow through of the new Matthews, but
Right.
takes a dent out of it.
Just a little bit.
Takes a dent out of it. So you said that you built a bow. You did the bow builder. You built
Yep.
a Matthews online.
I did, yes.
Give me a couple highlights of the bow build, and then we'll wrap her up.
So where's Matthews? So the one thing with their bow builder I believe, is they don't give you price
Right.
like Hoyt does. Hoyt gives you all the prices of their accessories,
Hmm.
which so Hoyt's bow builder right now, you can't build a new bow at the moment. Like you could build their other ones, but not their flagships for some reason
Yeah.
right now. But yeah, Matthews, I customized a lift X 80 pounds. Man, dude, there's just so much when it comes to just building.
The camos and the
I would if so. I really like the new gray color they have.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually a really big fan of that. I'm a big fan of gray. Gray and gray and let's see, riser and the earth. I like the earth. I like the gray. Maybe the gray on black, gray on earth. That'd
Ooh.
be kind of cool. I don't
Mix
know.
it up a little
Now
bit. So
gray on
your
black.
draw length is for sure 30 or
That's on. I'm gonna be honest. It's just a guesstimate. That's what I measured from like doing that. Like I measured my wingspan and did the whole math conversion or whatever.
okay.
So that's also another thing I like about Hoyt with their new cam system is they're going quarter, and
Matthews,
I
you have
would
to do a whole module to change.
right. Which I mean Hoyt you have to do that too, but it's not as extensive.
Well,
I think.
you get a whole inch worth, but at quarter inch increments. And I believe Matthews, it's like half inch modules every half inch or something like that.
Okay, that makes more sense. But
And
like,
yeah, so like that's the one I guess knock that like guys like MFJJ are saying is like Matthews has like 200 some modules to put on their bows. Now, granted, all those modules fit all the bows, so it's not like it'll only fit one or the other, or these two and not that one, whatever. But they
right?
have like 200 modules, whereas like Hoyt has five
Mm-hmm. True.
or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
That's
your
that's
draw.
that.
I feel like you really need to figure out your draw length because, and I feel like I need to get my draw length retested, just to be sure that who knows, maybe I am like a 29 and a half. Maybe I'm a longer draw, or maybe I'm a 28-inch draw, and
Right.
it would actually be better for me to be shorter, which would then only lead me to be like, hey, maybe I should go for that shorter bow even more
Right.
so. But
Exactly. Or you could get the shorter Hoyt one.
maybe, but just to be sure, like, because I know you're pretty big on the longer bows, that Lift XD being a longer bow, and especially for you. Let me see
Well,
what's their
it's
brace
not
height,
a
6 3/4 is
it's
like probably the best, one of the better brace heights.
I can't shoot that one. The lowest it goes is 32.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't like to get your draw length tested. Like, actually know for sure what your draw length is, and
Oh yeah,
if you are a 32 or
yeah,
32 and a half, you could fit into that bow possibly.
true. Yeah, I don't think I am a 32,
Right.
but
Right.
well, I know this bow goes out to a 32.
Yeah.
So, but then again, I think you need a bow press to change it,
Yeah.
and I don't. So yeah, I would need to get my whole draw length retested, just to actually like for sure test it at a bow shop and not just me guessing at home.
Right.
So, oh man, dude,
Yeah. The the Matthews bows, bow builder, it's exciting. Definitely
it is
definitely gets you thinking all the different options that you can throw on there. It makes the pocket a little nervous, makes the wallet nervous, shaking in
for
its boots.
real. Yeah, so you click on both. Our newly announced 2020 Void compound bows will be listed here soon. Come back later to build your custom bow.
Mm. Kick
I'm like,
rocks.
what? Like, what the heck? That stinks.
Kick rocks.
So you could build the Highline, which that bow is, what is that bow? I think that's their big upgrade for their longer draw length bow.
Mm.
Let's see. It's a 36.5 axle. Jeez. 4.9 pounds. Can go up to 70 pounds. 29 to 32 or 32.5 to 34. It's $1,500.
Oof.
Phew is right.
Holy.
Well,
Crazy,
yeah,
man.
it is. Those are expensive, but it's
They're
part of
worth
it
it.
now. They
They're
are.
worth it.
They are.
So nice to have good bows. Like
Yeah,
I'm very happy that I went with Matthews when I did, and it's gonna be hard for me. Like I'm gonna keep it for this year, obviously. We'll see what next year brings, but it makes it so hard when good quality bows come out to be like, oh, I don't want that. Because I do. I do want it.
I know. Like this bow, don't get me wrong, this is a good bow that Bear makes, and not knocking it or anything, but just want the best, man.
Yeah.
Whatever the best feels like to. I feel like I'm gonna be the guy, because this is me. I'm not really a homer to anyone. Like I'm a truck guy. I'm not a homer to any brand. I like Fords. I like Rams. I like Chevys. I like Toyotas, Tundras specifically, not the new ones, old V8s. I like the Nissan, the Titan. I like all those. GMC, sorry, but for different reasons too. And then bow wise, like there's so many good bows out there. I'll like them all for different reasons.
Right.
So I don't know if I'll ever be truly a homer. I might be one of those guys who might just buy a bow every other year and just keep them. Might as well. I mean, shoot. So because they're just all so good. I mean, you
Yeah.
really can't go wrong with them.
Exactly. No, they're all very quality bows. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
matter of preference at a certain point.
Yep,
Well,
exactly.
Brooksy, I think we covered it pretty good. I think we're developing ourselves into the archery world, getting all these tools to build or not build, work on our bows at home, do it ourselves, grow our knowledge on the bows themselves. I feel like that's a pretty big stepping stone. Maybe it's a leap for us being newer, but I feel like that's just kind of who we are as people is, we like to do it ourselves. And so like being in it a little bit is being in it all the way. And so like there's no real in between. And so, like jump in and be able to work on our own stuff and work it to where it works best for us and works right for us. Not having to rely on other people and taking it in all the times.
Right.
That's
Oh yeah,
kind of
100%.
that's the big thing of, I guess, this episode is talking about those things and things that we're looking forward to and building that up because, we're not at the point where we just get to buy everything, we have it all and it's ready to go. So,
Exactly.
baby steps, baby steps. So,
Eventually we'll get there, and
yeah,
it'll get to the point where yeah,
yeah,
be able to do that stuff, and I'll be able to come out to Tennessee and just hunt whenever I want and with you guys, and then you guys can come out to Colorado and we can do elk
hmm
hunting, and it'll be freaking sick.
yes, exactly. Exactly. So if you listeners would love to help us reach those goals, here's how you can help. Go to fullfletcharchery.com and put in your order for custom arrows. We'll get you some custom arrows. It's the holiday season, so let's get you or some loved ones some new arrows for the rest of the hunting season. Yep. For the listeners, Brooks is showing off his arrow right now, showing off the arrow I built him.
So before we go, hold on. This is weird. So new arrow, scale. All right, so we're gonna remember how I told you on one of the other podcasts that one arrow feels lighter than the other that I have
Yeah.
down here in my basement? Well, all right. So this one has the broadhead on it, has the luminoc on it. All right. Make sure this is even, is the weight of this arrow. All right. Now we're going to go to this one, which has a regular field point, just has a regular knock on it. Make sure we're good. 519.3. Interesting. So I have not tried this yet, so I'm going to test this out right now live. I'm taking field point out, taking broadhead out, and I'm going to switch them.
You're putting me on the spot here.
I am. This is why we're going to. I'm here to make you better. Okay. All right. 417. Sorry. 517.1 with the broadhead on. So, which means, obviously, so these to let the listeners know, Justin, the one I just measured, Justin recently sent me, and then the one that I measured first, or I weighed first, sorry, was one of the first ones that Justin sent me. So, what could be the difference?
What's our difference here? 40 grains?
40 grains.
I don't know. The back weights are still in there?
Oh no.
'Cause I built them using the same components.
You know what? It's because I took the back weights are probably not in the other one. Guaranteed. That's probably on me because I took.
You took them out when you did the.
I think I took them out. Yeah, when I put the
Okay.
Illuminati in.
I
So
was
then
gonna
that
say,
makes
what the
sense.
heck, Brooksy?
So okay, guys, it wasn't on Justin. It was on me. Don't blame him.
I was lost.
I was just testing this because I was like super unsure why this is happening, and then Justin said the back weights, and I'm like, dead.
Yeah, you gotta put them suckers back in.
Yep.
Well, next episode you'll put them back in and we'll retest. And
Well, I have no
which
idea where they are. So
good, good, good deal. Awesome. So, anyways, let's get you, the listener, or you, Brooks, some new arrows, and let's get them all synced up, flying right, and good to go for your next season of shooting your bow, whether it's hunting
heck
or
yeah.
3D or target or whatever it might be. So,
3D
yeah,
season's around the corner, baby. You got to get ready.
reach out fullfletcharchery.com or Justin at fullfletcharchery.com, and you'll get a hold of me directly, and we'll get you all set up. So, appreciate you guys listening.
Go follow the Instagram.
Yeah, give us some follows
Was it at Full Fledged Archery?
at _ full fletch archery. That's the Instagram. Yep,
Yes.
awesome. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one.
See you guys next time.